Today's been pretty interesting for me. Doug Demuro, popular YouTube automotive journalist, was uploaded a video on the car he buys and why he doesn't buy reliable cars. And I know usually the running joke is anytime someone posts something about reliability in cars and German makes like Audi, BMW, Mercedes, or British cars like going back to the British Leyland days to Jaguar, and other makes like that, Range Rover, things of that nature. There's always a running commentary over reliability and things of that nature. And of course, I've subscribed to Scotty Kilmer, I subscribed to Doug Demuro, and I actually had an opportunity to see Doug Demuro at the Mall of America when his Aston Martin road trip. In fact, that evening, I was debating about bringing the PT Cruiser over to have him sign it because I know his opinions on PTs, and I thought it'd be kind of hilarious to have him actually put a signature on it. It would be similar to Ralph Nader signing a Chevy Corvair. So I think the question comes down to, from a reliability standpoint, what does that actually mean? Have I had unreliable cars? I have had cars that were expensive to maintain. I named my channel after BMW 3 Series, the E46 3 Series, the E46 IT wagon, which was called we nicknamed it the Ultimate Grocery Getter, because I wanted a BMW, but we still needed a wagon. And I owned that car for about 9 years. And I have to admit, it was pretty expensive to maintain. I liked the car. It was a great driving car, but it's just that when we were looking for the next vehicle and what was in my budget and what appealed to me, it was that 2012 Red Volt. And the Red Volt never stranded me anywhere, but it had some quirks. Namely, the charge port door would freeze shut, and that would turn the check engine light on. It also needed to have the rear struts replaced, the hatch struts. That was a recall. A couple of software upgrades, one having to do to actually powering the car down after being inactive for a half hour. Apparently the traction batteries would wear out, the engines would turn on. It was a carbon monoxide concern. So not necessarily, I mean, if you have the presence of mind of shutting your car off, it's not a real deal breaker, but nevertheless it was a recall. We liked the Red Volt enough to buy this 2015 White Volt. And I actually think between the 3 years, there is a difference. This car feels a bit tighter, has a bit of a firmer ride, and there's more features in it. There's like a forward collision alert, and lane keep assist, and some other kind of enhancements that I think make it sort of the peak version of the Generation 1 Volt. I considered a Gen 2 Volt, but for some reason I just preferred the looks of the Gen 1, personal preference. From a reliability standpoint, the only thing I've had to go wrong with it is the driver's window regulator broke. Glass fell into the door. Not a big deal. It was fixed under a Chevy CPO warranty. This is a certified pre-owned Chevrolet CPO used car, so not a problem. Dealer fixed it, no questions asked. Other maintenance, I did the 5-year cooling system flush, all 3 cooling loops for $500. Chevy dealer did that for us, as well as just make sure that the software was up to date, and an oil change. So the Volt goes in annually before the winter for an oil change, whether it needs it or not. I just think it's extra security and insurance. So, and the only other thing I would describe as being kind of an expense is Blizzak tires. It just makes it a better car in the snow. So just it's cheaper than an insurance deductible or waiting for a tow truck to pull you out of a ditch. 2006 PT Cruiser. People love it or hate it. This is not a daily driver. It was purchased to be an extra car for our kids to drive around in. We bought it 6 years ago. It had 33,000 miles on it. Its history was that apparently a wealthier family owned it and kept it in Florida, and somehow made its way to Minnesota, where it was purchased by someone in our neighborhood who owned it for about 3 years. Decided it wasn't really serving his purposes, so he put it up for sale. Carfax is clean. Mechanically, it's pretty much perfect. I have 37,000 miles on it. We put about probably 1,000 miles a year on the car driving around in the summertime. I was going to try to drive it year round, but it just, the way the convertible top is designed and the windows, I found that the doors would freeze shut. And I kind of thought to myself, either we drive in the winter, expose it to the salt, which it's never really seen before, or we try to preserve it. And so basically, I opted to keep it as kind of a fun summer toy. I'm tall, I'm about 6'4", and this is one of the few convertibles I can fit in. My son primarily likes to drive it in the summertime. But come winter, November, October, we'll take it to my mother-in-law's house and park it in the garage where it will stay for the entire winter. So the only thing I've had for repair-wise was a brake light switch. That's it. Other than that, just oil changes and an occasional wash and detail, and that's pretty much it. So not a huge deal. If I drive it more, sure, I'll probably have more issues with it. But, you know, for a car that's 15 years old, it's pretty solid. And it's in really good shape. And who knows, this might be a future collector car. You never know. PTs were pretty popular when they first came out. So, but like I said, people either love them or hate them. Doug's comments about them actually kind of cracked me up. So anyway, next one. This is probably our most recently acquired vehicle. It's a 2017 Honda Odyssey, which replaces our 2009 Honda Odyssey. This is probably our, fourth Odyssey that we've owned. And I've talked to my wife about getting a Toyota Sienna. I know Scotty has made some comments about reliability between the Sienna versus the Odyssey, and in some respects, I do agree with him. We had a 2001 Odyssey where the transmission went out on it. Honda did cover the repair. It went out 99,000 miles, and we were on a road trip, so that kind of wasn't great, but we had to rent a car to get home, and a Honda dealer called us and said, yeah, it's under warranty, we'll fix it, no problem at all. I think they even covered the cost of the rental, so not a big deal. Our 2009, I think our 2009 Odyssey was kind of a problem child. It had issues with the oil leak in the VTEC spool valve, which made a real big mess. Also fried the alternator. Power steering line went out, I think the high pressure one. So issues with the air conditioning relays. The big one was the VCM oil consumption. It always used oil. Got to the point that the check engine light came on. Honda says we need to disassemble the engine to upgrade piston rings on the VCM cylinders, which they did, no charge, and also gave us a loaner. And I was a little disappointed with it. When it came time to thinking about getting a new car, we were seeing the prices back last fall, it seemed like used cars were starting to become hard to find. And we've been looking for a replacement van for a few months. And this one came up. And it was basically sort of a no-brainer to get it. It's a Touring Elite. So far, this one has like 46,000 miles on it. Does not use a drop of oil. It's better gas mileage than the 2009, much better actually. On the highway, we can get close to 30 miles to the gallon if we're driving, reasonable freeway speeds with it. It drives really well. But again, personal preference. There are certain things that we like about the Odyssey versus the Sienna. And granted, the Sienna probably is a more reliable vehicle over the long haul. Doesn't have a timing belt, which this one, in about 50,000 miles, will need a new timing belt and water pump. But that's just what happens when you have a Honda. So, but we like it. Again, driving preference, I prefer driving the Odyssey versus the Sienna. Okay, our Maxima is with my son, who's living not too far away, but he's using it as his driver for right now. Just logistics works out that way. Normally he would get the Volt, but there's no place for him to plug it in, so we switched cars. And coming down to this is my 1987 Dodge Dakota pickup. This was my dad's pickup. He purchased it in, I think it was late July, early August of 1987. And he owned the truck for about 18 years. And in 2005, he bought a new truck, a Dodge Ram Hemi, for pulling a larger boat. And he gave this to me. And I've been kind of off and on, been treating it as a project truck. Mechanically, we had the engine rebuilt and gone through some other stuff. So it's actually a pretty nice driver. Cosmetically, it really needs a lot of work. It has that classic delamination that Chrysler and other manufacturers had back in the late 80s into the mid 90s. Structurally, it's pretty sound. There's a little surface rust here and there that needs to be addressed. And otherwise, I've been watching YouTube videos on bodywork, and I might start doing a series on this with me working on this in my garage. looking for feedback on that. But otherwise, we actually use it for hauling things. We've bought home like a toy play yard, a workbench, things of that nature. So it does get used as a pickup. It's actually, like I said, a nice daily driver. Reliability, I mean, what can you say? It's a 34-year-old vehicle, and things are going to break. In fact, I had to do the windshield wiper linkage bushing on it last month. And I was going to do a video on that, but it was such a pain. It would have been impossible for me to practically film it and have a quality video that would have been worthwhile, because I was kind of like watching other videos on it, and there are a ton of videos on the subject out there. And I don't think I could have added anything to what was already out there. So not impossible to fix, but certainly was not a pleasant experience. But the wipers do work now. And of course, if we want to talk bicycles, Trek Dual Sport 2, kind of a hybrid gravel bike, which I've had for about a year. And I enjoy riding it. It's pretty comfortable, and gets me around. I go back and forth over getting like a pure road bike or touring bike versus a hybrid, but there's the way my riding is around here and the way the streets and trails are. It's kind of nice having the extra sidewall on the tires and an adjustable or shocks in the front fork. So pretty cool stuff. Other than that, people ask, like, why do you have what you have and how did you manage to get all these cars? It's just sort of what was available at the time and circumstances. So there is one other car you've probably seen on my channel is the 2005 Buick Lacrosse. My daughter's currently driving that. That's my father-in-law's car. He passed away about 3 years ago, so we ended up taking it on. It's been sitting for a long time, so it needed kind of just a mechanical inspection and some minor work, but she's driving it, and it's been really good. It's been a very solid car for her, and getting about 23, 24 miles to the gallon. It's got the 3800 V6, and I like it. It's actually not a bad driving car for a domestic. So anyway, other than that, that's pretty much all I have. I don't know. I thought, like I said, after watching all these videos, or watching Doug Demiro's videos, I thought I would make one of my own, and who knows? My name's Mark. Maybe I'll rename my channel Mark's Misfit Garage or something of that nature, and I'll let you know how each car is doing as the seasons progress. So anyway, that's all I have. Have a great day.